AITA for telling my sister to get over the fact that I wore a bikini around her BF. I love to swim, and since we have a swimming pool in our backyard I'm practically swimming daily. I don't think I own a one-piece swimsuit, so I'm always wearing a two-piece swimsuit. My sister's BF lives like 5 minutes away from our place, and he spends a lot of time here. The living room has a sliding glass door to the backyard and the window to my sister's room is looking outside the backyard. I was taking a nap in the grass after I was done swimming and listening to music. I didn't even know my sister had her BF over cause I was in the backyard for basically the whole afternoon. 12 to 4. My sister woke me up and called me an R for wearing something so skimpy around her BF. I asked her what she meant, and I guess her BF kept looking out the window while I was napping/swimming. I know, weird. I told her that if he was looking at me that is his problem and that I wasn't trying to cause anything. She was pissed at me, like I haven't seen her this mad at me since we were kids and had to share a room. She full on told me not to dress like a whore when her BF is over. I told her to get the fuck over herself, and if she has a problem with her BF looking at me then she should talk with him, not me. I then went to my room and we didn't speak for the rest of the day till dinner. AITA. NTA, you live here too and have the full right to dress however you want, anytime you want. It's not your fault you don't own a two-piece swimsuit and totally not your fault that he was looking. If your sister has a problem then she has to talk to her BF about this and not blame you. You didn't even know he was there. NTA, literally everyone but you is the R. Sister's BF for being a total creep, and sister for misplacing her anger which should be fully launched at her worthless boyfriend. In time, I truly hope that sister will realize this. Have your parents deal with her. Maybe have her best friend join in. My conclusion is assuming sister's BF was staring at you, which I think is probably the case. If your sister was disturbed enough to get mad at you while her BF was acting normal, you would have known about her issues before. So ignore the usual people talking about red flags and breaking up. NTA, but my guess is you are both still young. This is going to seem like the end of the world to her cause she doesn't know better. She is mad at her BF, but doesn't know the proper way to handle it, yet so she takes it out on the easier/safer target, you. I wouldn't put much stock into anything she says or does. It's a learning experience for her, hopefully. But again, you are NTA. NTA, she should really talk to her BF about it, not you. She's angry at her boyfriend, but she doesn't want to fight with him, so she's trying to solve the problem on your side, instead of talking to her boyfriend about staring at you. Or she's insecure and her boyfriend wasn't actually staring at you. Edit. Thank you. Always sleepy 22. Jagdejro and Fmet 000. AITA for having the mother of daughter deported. A few years ago I met this woman Maggie. She was on a work visa originally from Europe. After casually dating for a few months she told me she was pregnant and she wanted to keep the baby. I wasn't happy about this at all. This was not how I pictured starting my family. I was always careful and wore protection, even though she told me she was on BC. After many discussions, I resigned myself to my fate of becoming a dad. I had no interest in having a romantic relationship with Maggie, something she kept pushing for. So the baby arrives, and I just fall in love with her instantly. I ended up being a dad to her and me, and Maggie seemed to be doing an okay job of managing to co-parent. One day out of the blue Maggie tells me she's met someone. Initially I'm okay with it, only slightly concerned as this will be a new person in our daughter's life. Then she hit with the kicker. He lived all the way on the East Coast and she planned on moving and taking our daughter with her. It was like a gut punch. I immediately told her that wasn't happening and I wouldn't allow it. It turned into a pretty big screaming match with her pretty much telling me she's doing it and there's nothing I can do to stop her. For the next few days I couldn't eat or sleep properly. On a conversation with my brother he told me to go talk to a lawyer. Something about my brother, he's always been a calculating sob. Remember that work visa? He reminded me to bring up the fact that it had expired quite a while ago. Well, I did that. Long story short, Maggie got deported and banned from entering the country for several years, and I got full custody. This wasn't my first choice, but I'll take it over only seeing my daughter once, possibly twice a year. I was telling a close friend the story, and she told me I did the wrong thing, and that I shouldn't have taken a daughter away from her mother. I said she planned on taking her away from me and playing house with a man I knew nothing about, and she barely knew. So I'm here asking AITA. Edit. I never expected this kind of reaction. I know I left out a lot of details. I'll try and fill some in. I did try and talk her out of moving a few more times. She refused. I asked if she would consider handing me primary custody. She refused. I asked her to leave our daughter here with me for the first few months just to see if they would work out. She refused. I asked if he would move here. She said he couldn't and never gave any real reasons. I'm the father without a doubt. DNA test. My work doesn't permit me much time off. At best I would have only been able to fly out 2 times in a year. My whole family is here and have always played a big part in our daughter's life. Her mother visited once. I did file for child support on the advice of my lawyer, although I haven't ever received a penny. I never chased it. I did agree to fly out once and she cancelled. Never tried to arrange anything more. She does video chat with our daughter regularly, and my daughter knows who she is. AITA. You're clearly legally recognized as the father. If she'd moved away within the country, then you could have worked out some form of custody that enabled you to see your daughter regularly. In fact, as she was the one moving and willingly upending your child's life for her new partner, you could even have stood to get majority custody. Instead you went from 0 to 100 and now Maggie cannot even be in the same country as her own daughter. Yes, Maggie played dirty by planning to move away from you without even consulting you, but you went nuclear. NTA, you could have done it legally, and I can guarantee you that she would not have been allowed to move away with the child. Unless you are an unfit parent or there is an agreement, but both parties in place. The law always sided with the best interest of the child, which is to keep the child where he/she is, and the parent can't move more than a certain number of miles away. But I'm also petty as hell. She tried to hurt you, hurt her first and worse. She sounded like a selfish parent. But you are far worse. You went immediately to the nuclear option, based on advice from your calculating brother. You could have just gotten a custody agreement that would prevent her from moving out of state. Instead you got her daughter taken away and her deported. You are so screwed when she gets old enough to ask where her mom is. Either you lie and destroy the relationship when she eventually finds out, or you tell the truth and immediately become the bad guy. NTA. People are acting like you could have still kept your daughter and avoided deportation. But that's just not possible. Scenario 1. You allow her to move away. You don't get to see your daughter as much anymore. Scenario 2. You alert the authorities that she is in the US illegally. She gets deported. Scenario 3. You go to court over a custody arrangement. They find out she is in the US illegally. There is no way they wouldn't. She gets deported. Scenario 4. You threaten her with deportation. Either she stays and resents you and probably tries to turn your daughter against you. 2. Runs away with your daughter or tells you she plans to move anyway, in which case she would still end up deported. There's no good option here. Scenario 3. While it may seem nicer, will just cost everyone time and money and will still end up with a deportation. She put you in this position, and you responded with a difficult but necessary decision. AITA. Major Ray as an immigrant myself, and I moved to the US for a better educational status, and I didn't see my mom for about 2 to 3 months over summer break. It was very hard. Imagine having to WhatsApp your mom to ask about your period, or not having her to give you advice on relationships, or just needed to do mom stuff. My dad had primary custody, and he was just lost with hair, new and bites, periods, BC, sex, boys, clothes, etc. You robbed her of bonding time because you couldn't fly out, and she was playing house with another man when you clearly stated you don't want her. So what did you expect would happen over time? Someday you're going to be playing house with another woman and you won't want her getting in the way. Your daughter is going to find out, and I hope she locks you out of her life, and you maybe will feel the pain her child mother is having. RN. Note: my dad worked for a cruise line for about 11 months out the year, so I what it's like to note he have a father there too, but my dad could come and go as he please. My mom couldn't enter the US legally at the time. NTA. My dad was in your position. My mom just wanted to emigrate to another country very far away, different continent even, and take me with her. My dad didn't know how to stop her and ended up losing me. He missed almost everything of my childhood, all the birthdays etc. He regrets it so much that he didn't do more to stop my mom for taking me away from him. My mom had a new boyfriend there as well that he didn't know of. My mom couldn't take care of me there, and that's how I ended up in therapy for years. My dad eventually did take my mom to court, but they ended up losing me the second time. My mom would always spread lies about my father and that he didn't care for me. That's not true, and I went back to live with my dad as a teenager. You fought to have your daughter be with you. Deportation may not have been the nicest thing for your ex, but you did it because you want to keep and protect your child. You didn't know where your daughter would end up, or how your ex would raise her, and who the hell this new BF is. She can visit the child every summer or so. Keep contact with the mom as much as possible. Just for your daughter's sake. This situation sucks. You did what you knew was right. That's the best you can do. AITA. I get the whole situation sucked, but you would have still been in the same country as your child. You both could have worked it out through the court system. You took your daughter's mother away from her. I couldn't imagine being forcibly separated from my children. This kid is going to need therapy when she grows up. The mother was wrong, but you took it to a whole new level. When daughter grows up and learned why mom suddenly disappeared out of her life, don't be surprised if she begins to despise you for that. Just remember that when parents fight, it's the child that suffers the most. It didn't have to come to this. Edit. I'm vaguely aware of some levels that you can't take children across state lines without the consent of the other parent. Child relocation laws. Court-ordered custody arrangements can work well for years, especially when both parents live in the same town. However, what happens when the custodial parent wants to move to another town or out of state? What if the non-custodial parent opposes the move because it will result in lost time with the child? In this situation, the custodial parent will likely have to go to court and ask a judge for permission to move the child out of state. These move-away cases are among the most difficult types of custody disputes. Typically, a parent can't move a child to another county or state without prior approval from the court that issued the original custody order. If the custodial parent moves the minor child without court permission and against the non-custodial parent's wishes, a judge may punish the custodial parent with a contempt order, which can include fines and jail time. A judge could even change custody arrangements in favor of the non-custodial parent. /ish. If the roles were reversed, I feel like PPL wouldn't be so against HER** doing it. I understand why you did it. I understand the mom trying to move forward her life. This would have all came out during court, and then unfortunately, there is the what if the mother would have ran away to her home country the daughter, as she would be deported anyways, and then you would be fighting to see your daughter. It does suck that it came down to this level. I'm not sure what you're looking for after you read these comments. As your daughter gets older, she may feel that you're too irrational and unable to reason For me personally, I get why you had to do it B/C. If I was a mother and my hypothetical father of my child told me he was moving and was going to take our daughter, I'd deport him immediately if he wasn't willing to budge. Understand though, all of our actions have consequences, and this may come back bigger issues. Just be aware of the impending issues that will come and how you plan to handle it. Good luck, dude. I really hope things work out for you. And I hope your job situation gets better. Yeah, she shouldn't have said she was going to move. But you know what people move with kids. They work it out. They organize custody agreements. They fly out and visit. They figure this shit out as adults. They don't essentially guarantee that the other parent can never see their child. The East Coast is not Europe. For all those people saying NTA wanting to move your family somewhere else in the country is not the same as having someone deported. She may never be able to see her child again. WTF are you going to say when your child asked about their mother? Oh yeah, sorry hon. I had her removed from the country. Looking at some comments is shocking to me. Why is it nobody putting the daughter first here? It's not about what's fair for the parents, or whether it's okay to retaliate to shit behavior with the same shit behavior. Both the mum and dad had no problem removing the child from the other parent. And frankly, it's going to be a majorly distressing turning point in this child's life. She's suddenly living full time with one parent who caused her mother to be removed, not just from her, but from the country. That's fucked up, no matter who started it, and I guarantee the child won't see it so kindly as she gets older. There were so many other options to take here, and the child is going to pay for your inability to see beyond your own win. I hope this is fake. So what do you think? Leave your opinion in the comments and vote in the polls. Thanks for watching.